Mira bien, hijo de tu puta perra madre. A mí me pela la verga el mencho. Aquí si nomás se los digo puro 420. Yo no me duermo como el pirata o el chanito de Culiacan. Yo soy inmortal, yo soy intocable y yo soy un pato con el diablo, cabrón. Para el señor Mencho pido...
Welcome back to Disturbed Reality. The foolishness of youth is a very real thing. As a young man, in my late teens, I had a much more reckless approach to the world and everybody in it. Youthful exuberance and a misguided ego very nearly got me into a lot of trouble, though the reality is, I was lucky. The worst it got for me was a bloody nose and a dented pride. I'm sure many of you can relate looking back. However, not everyone is so lucky. Sometimes, the naivety and recklessness of young men can lead to their untimely demise, which brings us to the case of Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, a social media star who went by the name of El Pirata de Culiacan, or the Pirate of Culiacan in English, who was ruthlessly gunned down at 17 years old by Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generacion. But who was Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales? Juan was born in the city of Novalato in the state of Sinaloa, arguably the cradle of Mexican drug trafficking and home to the likes of Joaquin Guzman, aka El Chapo, and Felix Gallardo, aka El Jefe de Jefes, as well as a whole host of other infamous drug traffickers. Juan's formative years were not easy. He was born into abject poverty and a dysfunctional family. He never knew who his father was. With his dad out of the picture, his mother would follow suit. Struggling to raise young Juan alone, she gave custody to her mother, Juan's grandmother. His mother would then leave town. Despite the abandonment and heartbreak, Juan vowed to change his circumstances. He was no stranger to hard work. At just 14 years old, he would run away and move to the city of Culiacan to seek out employment. He would find odd jobs, such as washing cars, but then went on to find a more permanent role, working in a kitchen that catered for social events. Despite only being 14 years old, Juan was a hit with his colleagues. He was seen as the life and soul of the party, his outgoing personality endearing to those around him. For arguably the first time, young Juan felt accepted and felt the need to impress his colleagues and friends. At such parties, Juan would consume copious amounts of alcohol, downing various spirits for the sheer challenge. His relationship with alcohol was no doubt troubling, especially for somebody of his age, though it would turn out to be the very thing that would transform him from a nobody to a social media star. As Juan's reputation as a party animal grew, his friends decided to film him getting rat-faced drunk. In 2015, he went viral when a video was released of him drinking copious amounts of what appears to be whiskey. The video depicts Juan feeling the after effects, falling asleep while standing, and eventually face planting to the ground. This video would kickstart Juan's new social media career. He would quickly amass a large following on social media sites such as Instagram, where he had around 300,000 followers, and Facebook, where he had more than 1 million followers. Rosales became a minor internet star, and a buzz surrounded his name. He would go on to be known as El Pirata de Culiacan. Due to his ever-growing fanbase, Juan would be invited to social media events, parties, and would even star in various music videos. Despite the drinking age in Mexico being 18, this didn't deter Juan from carrying on the facade of being an adult. In fact, he did it so well, few were aware of his true age and assumed him to be an adult. He would pose with models, large quantities of cash, luxury vehicles, as well as painting on facial hair to give the impression that he was older than he really was. In addition to that, he would also pose on social media with various guns and weaponry. In hindsight, from the outside looking in, potentially Juan felt invincible. He went from nothing to something and would get more and more extreme with his drinking escapades and social media posts. Despite having a legion of fans and associates, it seemed that he never had a true friend. He was merely seen as a court jester type figure for those around him, and a mere source of entertainment. Nobody seemed to be concerned about his reckless behaviour affecting his well-being. In August of 2017, Juan was arrested for underage drinking, though this did nothing to change his lifestyle. Upon his release, he picked up where he left off and would continue to showcase his destructive behaviour on social media. Shortly after his arrest, Juan offered a glimmer of hope that he may change. During an interview with Pepe Garza, Juan would admit that he was an alcoholic and that he needed to change. He would also state during the interview that his dream would be to learn to sing and to pursue a career in music. Though, despite his stated desire to change his ways, his growing stardom would make it extremely difficult for him. At the end of the day, how can you quit what made you famous in the first place? As his influence continued to grow, he would become all the more reckless, without fear of consequence. But when you play with fire, you will get burned. This is where Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, aka El Mencho, comes into the story, the leader of Cartel de Jalisco Nueva Generacion. In early December of 2017, a video was released depicting a clearly intoxicated Rosales insulting CJNG boss El Mencho. In the video, he can be heard saying El Mencho a mí me pela la verga, which roughly translates to El Mencho can suck my dick. Little did he know that he signed his own death warrant. Due to his large online profile, many would assume that Rosales would be safe from any backlash, due to it drawing unnecessary heat to the cartel, though, in reality, this couldn't be further away from the truth. CJNG have killed high-ranking police chiefs, members of Congress, military personnel, and the likes, so killing a social media star is no problem to them. On the 18th of December 2017, the Pirate of Culiacan would post to his social media pages that he would be at a bar in the Guadalajara metropolitan area, encouraging his fans to come along and meet him. Given the nature of a video released a couple of weeks prior, this would ultimately be a recipe for disaster, considering the area was a CJNG stronghold. At around 11 PM on the 18th of December 2017, masked gunmen stormed the packed bar, opening fire, with Rosales being the main target. It's reported that Rosales was shot up to 18 times. His body was identified by the tattoos on his arms. A 25-year-old bartender was also killed during the shooting. The killers to this very day are yet to be identified, though they are suspected to be CJNG sicarios. It's unclear whether the order to kill Juan came directly from El Mencho, or whether the Sicarios took matters into their own hands, defending their boss's honour. Despite his popularity, Juan's murder was treated as another statistic in the ever-growing murder rate surrounding the drug wars. Juan was only 17 years old when he was murdered. He was basically still a kid. Since Juan's death, a few wannabe social media influencers piggybacked off his murder, trying to make a name for themselves. One TikToker, for example, essentially insults El Mencho, basically copying Rosales, though he would instantly apologize. Let's take a listen.
Mira bien, hijo de tu puta perra madre. A mí me pela la verga el Mencho. Aquí si nomás se los digo puro 420. Yo no me duermo como el pirata o el chanito de Culiacan. Yo soy inmortal, yo soy intocable y yo soy un pato con el diablo, cabrón. Así que si no sabes de mí, de existencia, yo te vine a mandar fuego, Mencho. Así que no me da miedo decir esto, cabrón. Yo lo digo fuera en cámaras o aquí, cabrón. Así que a mí me pela la madre el Mencho. Si nomás se lo digo puro 420.
Oye, este video lo hice para el señor Mencho. Pido disculpas, lo que dije no estaba bien, no estaba consciente de lo que estaba diciendo, estaba mal. Ese día amanecí bien pendejo, no me di las consecuencias, me dejé llevar por los seguidores y pido disculpas, se te quiere, a ti y a tu familia. Y Mencho, no me mates, cabrón, yo tengo familia así como usted y pido mis disculpas. Aquí todos cometemos errores y pues Dios está viendo todo eso, así que pido disculpas porque la verdad no sé lo que estaba haciendo. Todos cometemos errores y yo tengo problemas psicológicos, así que acuérdese, señor, que se le quiere. Saludo.
Fingers crossed that this young man doesn't suffer the same fate as Juan Luis Lagunas Rosales, but when you dance with the devil, you don't get to pick the tune. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, if you can enjoy this sort of content. I thought I would make this one as a bonus video. I didn't really think it was enough for a main video, but many have requested this case, so I thought why not cover it. If you guys would like more non-gore cartel related content, then please feel free to let me know in the comments below. But anyway guys, thank you so much for the support. If you could do me a massive favour, if you're not subscribed, click on the notification bell so that you are notified of all of my uploads. Many people within the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks have been telling me that my videos are not coming up on their notification feeds. So to counteract that, if you could click the notification button, it would be much appreciated. But as always, stay safe. And I'll catch you on the next one.
So I would definitely like to state something here. Obviously, very obviously, this is very much a case of obnoxious behavior. See, the problem with young people as a whole is like when you see your friend laughing, chat, it makes you want to keep going on and on and on. So like Mr. Disturbed Reality here, he stated even the same thing I'm technically saying right now, is that when you're seeing your friends laughing, you can't help yourself but to keep doing it even more. And that's what's more effed up, bro. Is that like, when you want to keep doing that type of stuff, it just proves that you are one of those desperate people who need the attention so badly that you don't care about your own life at that point. So, this social media star getting killed by the cartel, saw it years ago. Was like, damn. He's definitely gonna get it, and yeah. CJNG doing what they do best. Yep. Pretty much he was a message. Unfortunately, he was the message. And when you're targeted as like the message of everything, it's kind of like now you're like the thing that will make everyone understand that if you start talking smack about this person, you're gonna get punished. And it's just like, when you do that, you can't take it back either. So when you start talking smack about that person, remember, most of these guys are very sensitive. Sure, they're big men, right? Because they're behind the guns and everything. But take away the guns and they're useless. But that's not the point here. The point here is that the cartel, in particular, that he got killed by, actually runs under, I wouldn't say a legal system, but somewhat, let's just say, halfway legal system. Like, it's not legal, but somehow it is. Because when you're in Mexico, I guess, from what I know from this guy, it seems like they rule a portion of the police force. So imagine that. You call the police, right? You just running away from some random dude shooting. That's a part of the guy's a part of the cartel. They can make your death look like an accident. That's how scary that is. Just be like, oh, well, you know, he died out of suicide. And yet you notice the gun wounds on him. Like, you'll notice it's a lie. But you're just going to have to go with that lie whether you like it or not. See what I mean? Now, I know for a fact that the fear is intangible for that kid when the guns start firing in that bar. Like, it's not that worth it. Like, they even mentioned, he even mentioned that this guy was a court jester to entertain everyone there. That's how bad his life was. His entire life was being a court jester to entertain people. And that's, you know what's sad about that too? Is there's a lot of people like that. Like simps, class clowns, especially just in particular simps and class clowns. They'll do anything for success. And when anything comes down, it's a very dangerous thing. It's not something to take into a laughing matter. It's just, no. No, dude. You should never take that into a laughing matter. When you see someone that is a simp or a clown. Or a class clown, excuse me. Well, clowns could be out of class too. Even worse, actually, class clowns evolve into jesters, which means you're outside the school. And now you're a fully evolved idiot. Guys, when I tell you this, if you're someone who is in particularly Mexican in Mexico, don't be talking smack to them. I mean, clearly you know the message. And then that other dude tried to talk smack to them too. Clearly there's something wrong here in this in particular country. I hope things start to get fixed and whoever's in charge gets their act together. Maybe they will and maybe they won't. It's up to them. But that place is starving, as I like to say it. Starving for justice. I hope you guys have a good one.
Hi, I'm Lucy Christian. I am the voice of Otaco Urabanka, and you should subscribe to Neusxanity's channel. Peace out!